Hello friends, good morning. Whenever I tell my friends that I've got 100% in university, they never believe me at all. So in the beginning of this video, the very first thing which I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my results for the university. So on left hand side of the screen, you can see a report card of my marks in the individual subjects. Basically, I had 3 core modules. In 2 of them, I scored I think about 94, and in one of it, I scored 100. And there were like 2 practical modules. In one of them I scored 86 and the other one I scored I think 85. So overall it was a good result. So I think I was able, if you do the full average, I think it's more than 90%, and if you do for the core modules, I think it will be more than 95%. Now seeing these marks, don't think that I'm just a genius or I'm a smart guy that I study like maybe 15 hours in a day and that all crazy things. Not at all. I'm just like same as you guys like who are watching this video. And in this video, that is what I want to explore. I want to tell you guys that how I've been able to score these marks. My first point might be, it will be a bit philosophical, but I think that's the motivating factor for the rest of points. The rest of points, I want to tell you the actual tips that what all things I actually did in my university in order to achieve these marks. So with this, let's straight away get started. The very first point is that define your priorities in your university life. Like when I was in the university, when I scored these marks, I just had 2 priorities in my university. The very first was good studies, having good marks in my studies, and the second priority was my work. Now just I want to give you a bit of a context. Now for my studies, my tuition fee is about £20,000 and my living expenses are like £10,000 extra or about £15,000. So it's like a massive amount of fee which I have to pay to the university. So that's why I had to do the work. So that is ultimately that I had just these 2 priorities. Like, you know, people have got different priorities in the university. It might be don't want to score 100%, might be you've got priority of social life, maybe you have got a family responsibility. That's completely fine, but I'm just explaining you my own case. So I just had these 2 priorities in my university life. I didn't really care about the other stuff, for example traveling, hobbies. I really didn't care. There's a train coming over there. The key takeaway point is that define your priorities, and the crazy thing in my case was that the second priority of work which I had, so when I used to do work, I knew that how I've been able to earn that money. So I really knew what's the value of the money and ultimately what's the value of my studies. So basically my second priority was somewhere pushing me more, that I have to study more and more harder so that I can able to achieve like nice marks and like settle down in my life. So basically my second priority was able to push my first priority, that just shouldn't be more dedicated towards your study. You have to be the best, and by the best I mean I don't have like a competitive spirit that I have to be better than the other person, but by best I mean I just have got like one goal, which is 100%. I won't be like settling for less than 100% at all. So well, now moving on to the actual tips, that what all things I actually did in my university. So the very first tip which I've got for you guys is that define your own way of studies. Might be you're saying many different videos like where people are advising that might be take notes in the lectures, or secondly might be use some study techniques such as active recall and stuff. But however, I would really recommend you guys is that define your own way of study. For example, me, whenever I go to my lecture theater, I don't even have got a notebook, no laptop, nothing at all. The mindset which I've got before going to lecture is that I have to listen to the professor in a very dedicated manner, so that whatever he says, it really just goes in my mind. So I have never ever taken notes in my university life, nor in my high school. I hate taking notes. I really don't like writing that all stuff on a paper, even typing as well. I'm really bad at typing as well. So I would say that, so it's like my way of study. I hate taking lecture notes and all that stuff. So might be for you guys as well, you have to define your own way of study. Especially for the notes, what you can do is, when you're starting your university, week 1, like do not make notes. Then see in week 2, can you recall the things which professor has taught you? If you think you can recall it, that's well and good. I think that is what you should be aiming for. I won't say, let me correct myself. I won't be saying that you should be aiming for it, but you have to define your own way of study. So when you're in the second week, then think about, okay, let me this time try taking lecture notes. And then in week 3, compare both of these 2 strategies, that which works well for you guys. So I would say that define your own way of study here. Number second thing which I did in the university is that revision is the key. Just like put in highlight brackets that revision is the key. It's like a scientific proven fact that more times you revise like your lecture notes, so more better you will be remembering the facts, the figures, the graphs, and when you're actually in the exam hall you will be able to recall more. So revision is the key part, and even same for my case as well. I really used to do quite a lot of revision. So I think I used to do at least 4 to 5 times revision of my full lecture notes. And there was one more thing which I used to do, which is that whenever I used to, let's say if there's like one page of like one particular topic, like X, Y, Z subject. So my subject is chemistry, might be, or it's biology or something like that, or business, whatever it is. So in my case, let's say that there is a chemistry, one page of concept written on one page. So basically what I really do is, if this one line, I really like to know what's the meaning of each and every line in the lecture note. So if I find that one of the line I'm like struggling, or maybe if there's an equation that I'm struggling with, I'm like, I don't know like what does this actually means. So what I really do is that I especially organize some time with my professor. So might be like a 30-minute or 15-minute meeting, and then I go to the professor's like office, and then that is how I talk to him that I'm struggling over here, please try to help me out. So the main point is that I really like to understand each and every line of my lecture note. So basically revision is the key. Understanding what the actual concept is, these two things will actually give you confidence. When you're sitting in your lecture hall, lecture theaters, you will be having more confidence. You won't be feeling nervous at all. So I would say I'll highly recommend that revision is the key. I can't stress it more. Third tip in this video is that please go to the lectures. Now even myself, I've really bunked a lot of my lecture theaters, especially on the Monday mornings one, because it started at 9 o'clock or something, and your man always struggled with sleep problems. So basically that is like something where I struggled in, that I wasn't able to attend a lot of lectures. But I would highly recommend, please try your best to attend each and every lectures, because when let's think about it for a lecture note. When you try to read it yourself, you'll be really struggling. You don't know what this new concept really means. But once the professor goes through that all stuff, then it triggers in your mind, oh well, this line means this line means this, so and so on. Like once the complexity of the study increases, you'll be able to recall that what a professor has taught you in the lectures, and then you can start relating the concepts as well. The other thing about the lecture notes is that I've told you in the video that I personally don't take lecture notes at all, but here I want to give you a bit more perspective as well. Think about this, that you are paying the university like a fee, you're paying them the tuition fee, and you've got a professor over there. Basically professor is someone who has done PhD, he has got lots of knowledge, he has got the practical experience, he has read a lot of research papers. Now think about this, when he has made your like lecture notes for your subject, basically he has already summarized the information, because he has got hell load of information in his mind, and when he make the lecture notes, he has already summarized that full information for you guys. So basically another thing is, like, if you want to summarize it more, it's up to you, otherwise it is already summarized. So this is a bit of perspective which I want to give here. And the other thing, the important thing is that sometimes there's something that professors handwrites. For example, there's some graph which isn't in your lecture notes, it isn't in your PDF format lecture notes, but he makes on like a sheet or something. So that is where I just click a picture on my iPhone that, oh well, this is what he has taught, and I put a date and timing and the concept what he's teaching in. So I think this is the other thing which I really did. So I wanted to be a bit transparent, that I don't want to really say you that I never ever made lecture notes, but I used to do this picture thing and my iPhone used to be really filled with these pictures. So this is the other thing which I'll be recommending, that whenever someone handwrites, a professor handwrites something, make sure that you take a note of it. You can write it on your notebook or something, or you can just simply take a picture like me, because I don't really like to write too much. So as I approach towards the end of the video, I hope you find value out of this video. If you did, make sure to like this video, and secondly, make sure to comment your feedback, or otherwise if you've got some recommendation for me, like which video I should be making next, make sure to put that. And thirdly, subscribe the channel for regular updates. So that is all for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed the snow in the background. It was a bit slippery today because it's like black ice which has been formed, so I have to be really careful when I'm walking. I'm really slow. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching and have a nice day ahead. Cheers.